Who owns Aviator game in Kenya? A Kenyan generation is under threat. A Kenyan generation is under threat of extinction, and I will be talking about the ripple effects that Aviator and Betika, plus other gambling platforms, ripples that have been caused to the Kenyan society. And maybe before I delve into the core matter, let me share with you case studies which are real. Case study 1. It was time for his lesson, mathematics, but he was nowhere to be seen. The Nyamira Boys High School principal called him through his phone, but it went unanswered. With the deceased having been a very good and dedicated teacher employed under the board of management, members of staff felt compelled to go and establish this unusual behavior with the usually dedicated chemistry and mathematics teacher. The teachers found the door locked from inside, and on peeping through the window, they saw the lifeless body of the teacher hanging from the rope tied to the roof. Later it emerged that the deceased, the mathematics and chemistry teacher, smart, eloquent, and very humble, was an Aviator lover. He was an Aviator betting game enthusiast who was deep into debts and had borrowed money virtually from everyone, including his colleagues. His colleagues alleged that the deceased was in debt in tune of Kenya shillings 50,000, all which was lost through Aviator. Yet in another case study too, a junior secondary school JSS teacher at Cheptarit Primary School in Keyo North, Elgeyo Marakwet County was found dead after reportedly losing Kenya shillings 900,000 by gambling through Aviator. A painful twist to this sad incident is that the teacher, only 26 years old, had taken a bank loan of Kenya shillings 900,000 allegedly for development purposes, only for him to use it in Aviator gambling platform. Cases of university students and college students taking their own lives through suicide after they gambled their college fees and their financial upkeep are on an upward trend, as many parents seem to be pumping more and more money into seemingly bottomless financial holes in their children. What they don't know is that their children are channeling the same funds to an actual financial bottomless pit in Aviator and Betika. It is only when their lives, the lives of these children, come to an end that the harsh reality comes to light. Thousands of families have sad stories to tell about members of their families who in trial mode dipped their phones into Betika and Aviator, only for them to realize later that they had inhaled highly addictive and poisonous financial smoke, more lethal than shisha, marijuana, alcohol, and cocaine. All these combined. Every evening, witnesses many families across the Republic of Kenya cup their heads on the palms of their hands, counting losses that the gambling companies have inflicted on them through their young children in colleges, schools, and even the newly employed, all who have either perished or broken down completely. Even I, the narrator of this episode, have not been spared, and I am therefore speaking from personal experience, having lost relatives through this poisonous financial smoke that interestingly has legislations to protect it and perpetuate it to infinity. Gambling, cash gaming among Kenyans is now becoming an alternative to employment, which unfortunately takes away the money from money seekers rather than paying them. Aviator and Betika, among others, are the most popular platforms which suck in anyone with a coin in his or her M-Pesa account, even though statistics show that it is the male young people who largely involve themselves in gambling. Aviator, Betika, among other platforms, are causing a pandemic, a national disaster, yet the government keeps mum, churches, relevant government departments, and educationists have all gone silent as we lose a generation, as we lose thousands of lives, shatter millions of dreams of young people, and promote a hopeless society. If the catastrophe caused by Aviator and Betika, among others, is anything to go by, then there is a need to relook into the viability of betting, Lotteries and Gaming Act of Kenya 2012. Dear Government of Kenya, with the zeal, resources and determination that you have put up against local brew, marijuana, shisha, I kindly request you to double the same against gambling in Kenya. More so, gambling where stakes for as little as 50 shillings are used. Maybe it should be raised to 10,000 Kenya shillings. So why do people try their luck in Aviator, Betika, plus many other platforms? Dear viewer, if this is your very first time to join GM Chacha TV, I request you to subscribe to this channel for comprehensive updates and relevant information. Further, consider putting down a comment. What do you think in regard to the presentation? Gambling is equally a psychological drug that is addictive. When someone has tried his luck and won a small stake of, say, Kenya shillings 300, he will be hooked into the belief that he can win a bigger or a higher stake, say Kenya shillings 1 million, which never happens, or only has a chance of 1 out of 1 million to happen. And I say this because I was a victim. I once betted, I once tried my luck for only 100 shillings. I won 300 shillings. And I hoped that maybe if I put 200, I'll get more. Finally, I lost all the 300 shillings that I had won. And later on, I even lost my other 200 shillings. And that was the end of me in gambling. 3. Some gamblers may engage for fun, for socialization, most especially in casino, but by and large, Aviator and Betika are largely consumed by those who have nothing else to consume, those whose hope has oozed out somehow. Having known the problem, then maybe we can try to delve into the formula. How can we end gambling? How can one end gambling addiction? Stopping gambling addiction is quite a challenge, but it is possible. Without further ado, let me go to a few points that in my opinion I feel could be good strategies to end gambling addiction. 1. Let the victim, let the child, and if it's your child, the person who is addicted to gambling should admit that he or she has a problem. It begins from there. This is the hardest and most important first step. It takes courage. It calls for courage for one to admit that, yes, I have a gambling problem. 2. Understand the things that make you gamble. What are those things that kind of trigger the reaction for you to want to gamble? Many young people are gambling hoping to double the amount that they have. They believe in a system that is not very different from the wash system. Double 200,000 to 400,000. And the young people, once they are given school fees, they are given college fee of, say, 50,000 shillings to go and pay, they think that maybe if they engage it in gambling, they stand a chance of multiplying it 2 times. If it was 50,000, it goes to 100,000. Then they take the 50,000 to pay the college fee and they remain with a balance of 50,000. Don't be enticed by the desire of get rich quick. It doesn't exist. 3. If you have admitted that you have a problem, then seek help. You don't have to fight alone. Look for people who can walk with you, can stand by you, people who can give you social support. And therefore, connect with your parents, connect with your brothers, connect with friends who are not involved in the vice. If you are religious, you can join church groups, you can join youth groups in your church where you will get support. You will share even your predicament, and people will give you both moral and spiritual guidance, and you overcome it. And you can also visit online. There are existing online forums where you can participate. It's a matter of exploring what really works well for you. And I really encourage you to join church groups, church fellowships. They are really good. 4, get somebody qualified, somebody competent to take you through. In other words, go for therapy sessions. Go to a therapist who will help you with kind of coming to terms with yourself, a therapist who will listen to your story, who will join the dots of your predicament. A good therapist will be in a position to rewrite your history, to rewrite the course of events in your life. 5, just delete all those apps that are involved in gambling. If you have any application on your phone that guides you, that promotes gambling in Aviator, in Betika, in whatever kind of platform, then you don't have any alternative. If you really are determined to stop gambling, delete these sites, delete these applications, block any kind of access to these applications, because then if you don't want to trade with the devil, for heaven's sake, don't go to the devil's market. For certain, if you go there, you will trade with him. 6, expect relapse. There could be moments when you feel like you have to go back. Even those people who have been drinking, they have found themselves going back to taking alcohol despite 2-3 years after they quit. And therefore these kind of things do happen, and it would be very important for you to remember those things that kind of trigger this reaction in your mind, and you try to avoid them. It's normal. And lastly, number 7, become a public speaker on gambling and mentor others. By you becoming a public speaker, start talking about Aviator, start talking about Sport Pesa, start talking about those sites that are dangerous. And as you teach others, so you become stronger. Remember, even in school, we were told that one best way of you becoming sharp in class, especially in mathematics, is by you helping those who are weak in mathematics. The more you help others, the stronger you become. Become a public speaker on gambling. Seek to mentor others. Gambling is a pandemic in many families. Do you agree? What is your comment? If you share with me, I request you to subscribe to this channel. What advice do you have for the many youths, for the many people who have found themselves enslaved in gambling? So who really owns Aviator? The game was created by Scribe and set into motion back in 2019, and the destruction it has triggered is unstoppable. Now you know the owner